was having a good swim. What a beautiful place. Absolutely archetypal. Who wouldn't wish to own that? Their own fishing and the moat, their own little private castle. I just had a word with these fishermen and they're catching lots of reasonable bream. This time of year they can't use the live bait, so camembert, and it's gonna go. So we have the snails in special tongs, and if I try and get one out, it will fly across and hit Rosie in the nose. Oops. Not very good at this bit. So flick out and get you right in the camera. Nope, can't do it. Devil's out. So, got it. There it is. Horrible. That was a bit better. Last one tasted of grass and mud. And the snails bite the dust.
Yeah. So on film. Wonderful dinner. C'est bon hôtel ici, de bonne cuisine.
Je sais pas.
Oui.
C'est ça?
C'est ça.
Oui, c'est bon, voilà.
Fini pousser.
Ah ouais, mais comme je connais pas, je préfère.
Rosie, et avec le poulet.
Avec le dauphinois. Avec le dauphinois.
Okay. What's that?
Potatoes.
All right.
And sauce.
And I have a steak. Explain.
It's clafouti. It's like cherries in like a batter.
Cherries in batter. That sounds weird. But I've got, I don't know what, but it's chocolate and ice cream and something. So we'll see.
I think it's a chocolate fudge cake.
Well, this morning we're off to judge an exhibition of portrait work, which is a great honour for me. In the background here, apart from that hammering, you might be able to hear a nightingale. There we are. Well, I'm just driving along to judge this exhibition this morning, and there in front of the car is a dead tawny owl, so I'm afraid its loss will be my gain in a way, and that I won't waste it. I'll actually use it as a mount later, and we'll try and bring it back to life in that way and keep its beauty. Well, I'm here at Bassines sur Gartempe for judging the exhibition, so let's have a little look round. We've got 3 courses.
Un petit peu d'effervescence dans le bourg, et tant mieux. Donc, je vous dirai tout à l'heure.
So this is what we're going to need to judge, I think. I thought it might be difficult. Because the quality is very good, of course. I like that one, I must admit. And of course the unusual composition of this is very nice. Jan Valadon, the instigator of the exhibition, past since of course, but a wonderful artist of this region from the past. So if we're going through these, look at them. This one a little bit too photographic, the teeth stand out a bit much. Composition is interesting, but quite a literal copy of a photograph. Nicely executed though, I put it at the top of the list. Very finely painted, detail and so on, but doesn't do a lot for me, this one. That one, no, again, a little bit commercial. I don't really think the subject matter, it's a little bit flat as well and sharp, so that one I won't put in. This one, beautifully executed, very finely seen. Again, one I will certainly consider at top of the list. A very sensitive piece, nicely seen, beautifully drawn, but I think amongst the other portraits isn't as strong. This one, just too photographic for me, a bit too romantic, doesn't really work, the composition, too much space behind. This one, quite bold, quite striking, colours a little lacking, the form is nice. I like the boldness of the orange in the foreground, but somehow it doesn't quite work for me. It's delicate, I like the light around the mouth, but I don't think I'm going to put it into the finalists. Although a very bold and large picture, I'm not quite sure how well it really works. It's certainly one to be amongst the top of the finalists again. In fact, I find it quite hard to consider against this one because I think actually, in many ways, they're parallel. The unusual composition of cutting off, well, that one's larger, probably more impressive in that sense. This one is beautifully seen, a very delicate, lovely light, and beautifully painted on the surface and delicately around the eyes and so on, so worth considering. I do like this one, although the amount of purple at the top it possibly works because of that. In fact, it brings out the amount of delicacy at the bottom. This very strong pattern and flat pattern at the base, then coming up through into the figure halfway. Not an easy decision to make today, I can see. Going over to here, I think that one for me is a little bit too obvious, very strong chiaroscuro, but doesn't really work as well as I would like. I quite like the textures of this one, the background and the way they played with the texture against the photographic realism of the figure. I'm not quite sure how well it works in the drawing around the head. I don't think I would put that one in. This one I like very much. It's nicely handled in the paint. The drawing around the eye area here, there's something not quite right here. I think there's too much space there. The nose should be coming out here somewhat more. But the work and the colouring and the form around the mouth and the handling of the paint I like. That one I think it's just too flat, it doesn't quite make the grade. Process of elimination. I'm going to eliminate those three and consider this one, these two, that one, and the woman over here. So I've narrowed it down to 6. The hair isn't as well handled in this as I would like, so I'm going to discount that one. And the face is a little bit flat. And preference this one very much. I do find this problem here of the eye, the drawing of the eye is out. The rest of it I think is beautifully handled. I'm still tempted to place it because the rest is so nicely painted. I like this one. I think the colouring around the nose is a little bit dull, a little bit black. Beautifully painted around these areas. But if I had to choose, possibly I would place this one over that one, just. So now it narrows it down to that one. For me, this one. Not that one, unfortunately, although I do like it. This one. And this one, so we're down to 4. Into the camera. This is the museum, yes. And it's all about the painter, the artist of the region, or?
Okay. Because I'm not really prepared to explain the...
Able to.
I can try.
Okay, so.
Okay,
Super.
so here we are in the museum. So this is the museum of a famous painter of the region, which is Suzanne Valadon.
Ah.
So here you can see some of the masterpieces on the wall.
Ah, her paintings, yes, here. Le tableau là. And this is a recreation of her studio, or?
Yes, this is a kind of a recreation.
And that's one of her works. And there she is herself. I have seen her work on the website, to see web, beaucoup le tableau, beaucoup les belles tableaux aussi. Oui, je regarde. They are very like Cézanne also, aren't they?
Sorry?
Do you think they're very... Are these her original brushes? These actually Cézanne? Les
That
styles?
you use it?
Don't know. C'est rouge et film.
It's good? I stop?
So it's good now. Very strong paintings, very difficult choice to make. I've made by decisions. I've made one first over there, 2 seconds, 2 deuxièmement, et 2 troisièmement, 2/3 as well. So I hope you really like my choice.
Bah, il était avec nous il y a 2 secondes. C'est vrai? Donne-moi une.
Three things, a book on France and a tin and a stylo. Okay.
La film à droite.
This is the Maison of Valadon, the artist.
La journée ne fait que commencer, j'ai envie de dire. Donc tout l'après-midi, on va s'amuser. Donc je vais passer la parole à Madame le maire. Bonjour à tous.
Est retenu dans une autre manifestation et je regrette de ne pas être présent à cette manifestation qui est un trait d'union entre Montmartre et Messine, puisque Suzanne Valadon, bien sûr, est qui est maintenant le point commun à nous.
Il n'y a pas de table de deux. Ben, vous mettrez quelqu'un d'autre avec nous.
So, vous avez l'histoire de Madame Valadon?
de Suzanne Valadon.
Oui.
You prefer I speak in French or in English?
English is good.
English.
Je suis pas les deux, c'est pas un problème pour moi.
I prefer perhaps. I will try in English.
Oui,
Yes,
c'est bon, bon.
Yeah.
Oui.
So Suzanne Valadon was born in a restaurant in Bessines, and her mother was a maid, and they were very poor. And the story says that in the same moment when she was pregnant, there was an English painter who came and we stayed in the hotel. So you can eventually decide about
Maybe, yes.
the end of the story.
That's good. So it needs an English artist to come and make a good French artist.
Yeah. So while she is a good painter, we can expect that perhaps.
But today you have visitors from Paris as well, is it?
Yes.
For the first time, like a twin town.
Yes, yes. First time from Montmartre.
Ah, yes.
You know, especially from Montmartre because now there is a famous museum of Suzanne Valadon
Ah, okay.
in Montmartre, in the house where she finished her life when she was working, you know, and she was painting, and now it's a museum. So there is a big organization about Montmartre, not especially for Suzanne Valadon, for all the painters. And so they came for the first time this year because the organization Suzanne wanted to invite them and to welcome this association in Bessines.
Yes, very good.
Petit repas, j'étais surprise. Je
film
sais
aussi.
chez Marie-Laure. Marie-Laure est très soignée dans l'accueil. C'est vrai, très soignée dans l'accueil. Elle adore, voilà, joyeux les gens quand même.
Non mais écoute, je tire mon chapeau. Hein.